Being masculine, it's an attitude.
She was told she was too dark to sell, too masculine to model, too aggressive to be marketable. Fashion executives dismissed her face as un-American, something audiences would never buy. But the woman they said was unmarketable, built an empire worth millions, and a legacy that reshaped fashion, music, and culture forever. This is not just the story of a model who broke barriers. It's the story of a woman who turned rejection into revolution, pain into performance, and difference into dominance. And there were moments the world couldn't ignore. From a live TV slap to Hollywood stardom, to drugs, chaos, and loneliness. When the thrill was gone and the mask dropped, she had to face the real stuff. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. It's 1948, and we're in Spanish Town, Jamaica. Picture a young girl in a strict Pentecostal household where secular music was banned, makeup was the devil's work, and punishment meant belts and bruises. Her step-grandfather, a preacher, believed fear was salvation. Grace Beverly Jones learned early to kneel on bottle caps and to keep quiet, lessons that would one day teach her how to weaponize silence, how to turn fear into fuel. At 13, she left Jamaica for Syracuse, New York. The rules followed her, but so did her defiance. She'd sneak lipstick, tear pages from Vogue, and stare at the models' faces. Not to imitate them, but to study their power. I wasn't looking at their clothes, she said years later. I was looking at their eyes. They looked like they knew secrets. I wanted to know them too. At 18, she walked into Wilhelmina Models, an international modeling and talent agency full of hope. They looked her up and down and said, "Thanks, but no thanks." Grace cried on the subway home, not because they rejected her, but because they hadn't even seen her. So she got on a plane to Paris. Paris was different. It didn't ask her to be softer. It asked her to be more. The underground fashion scene, Yves Saint Laurent, Kenzo, Azzedine Alaïa, saw in her something no one had dared to celebrate before: power. Her sharp features, dark skin, and androgynous energy became currency. She lived with Jerry Hall and Jessica Lange in a small apartment, 3 unknowns sharing food, clothes, and dreams. None of them knew they were living with future icons. Soon, the same face that New York rejected was splashed across Vogue Paris. Grace walked runways with a stride that looked more like a challenge than a performance. I realized I couldn't be like the other girls, she said. So I decided to be like no one else. She wasn't just modeling, she was reinventing what beauty meant. Then came Studio 54, the epicenter of excess. While others lost themselves in the chaos, Grace was studying the system, watching how Warhol turned art into commerce, how Bowie made transformation a business strategy. Models get old, she said. Brands last forever. Signing with Island Records, she fused fashion with music, theater, and provocation. Her album Nightclubbing wasn't just sound, it was a declaration. The cover, her face painted in steel tones, shoulders squared like armor, stared back at the world with cold defiance. Her performances were part ritual, part rebellion. She didn't just sing, she conjured. Jean-Paul Goude, her lover and creative partner, saw what few men could. She wasn't human. She was a myth. Together they built images that blurred art and identity, Grace's sculpture, as panther, as machine. But behind the art was calculation. "My face is my factory," she said. "Every photograph manufactures my brand." But then came the Russell Hardy show. When the host turned his back on her mid-interview, Grace slapped him again and again on live television. The press called her dangerous. She called it respect. Her fees doubled overnight. I learned that being dangerous could be profitable if you were dangerous with purpose. Fame has gravity. The cocaine-fueled nights that once felt glamorous became traps. A 1986 arrest in Jamaica shattered the illusion. I realized I'd become everything my grandparents warned me about, she said. Rehab followed and revelations with it. Her accountant had embezzled half her fortune. She sued, restructured, and learned to protect not just her image, but her empire. Then came the losses. Keith Haring, friends from Paris, from Studio 54, all taken by AIDS. I watched my chosen family disappear one by one, she said quietly. The woman who'd once commanded every room now sat in silence, trying to remember how to laugh. It was her son, Paolo, who broke the spell. Mommy, do you remember when you used to be fun? That question saved her. She rebuilt her life slowly, acting classes, yoga, investments in art, and real estate. 19 years after her last album, she released Hurricane. At 60, she sounded sharper than artists half her age. People said it was a comeback. She smiled. I never left. Then came the Diamond Jubilee. In front of Buckingham Palace, Grace Jones, 64, sang Slave to the Rhythm while hula hooping for 4 minutes straight, proof that gravity-like rules didn't apply to her. Her 2015 memoir, I'll Never Write My Memoirs, was both confession and critique. She called out Gaga, Madonna, Rihanna. They all copied the style, but not the struggle. She reminded the world that she wasn't the imitator. She was the blueprint. In 2017, Jamaica awarded her the Order of Jamaica. I left as a girl who was told I was too much, she said. I return as a woman who learned that too much is just enough. Today, Grace Jones is in her 70s, still performing, still collecting royalties, still terrifying the unoriginal. Her net worth exceeds $50 million, but her true wealth lies in what she built for others. Permission. Permission to be strange, to be difficult, to be seen. She was told her face was unmarketable. She turned it into a global brand, told her attitude was too aggressive. She made it her signature. Told she was too dark to sell. She became priceless. Grace Jones didn't just survive the industry that tried to destroy her. She outlived it, outsmarted it, and remade it in her image. And 50 years later, the world is still trying and failing to catch up.